Having surpassed 1,000 completed anime, it's time to review my old favorites and find out what holds up. I'm Sacrabolic, your envoy of hope, and this is Anime Favorite Search. Chio School Road is a comedy series about an athletic girl named Chio who gets into all sorts of quirky adventures on her road to school. She has an obsession with being below average, so she usually tries to keep some of her more exceptional talents under wraps, such as her, honestly, very impressive athleticism. On her way, she often encounters various, quirky characters, all with their own eccentricities, and develops relationships with them, including her best friend since childhood. And they have their own things going on, and a big draw of the show is actually the interaction between the characters and their individual quirks. You get to see, how they interact and the scenarios they get into, and it's not just, dedicated to Chio being a complete fucking lunatic, but she is a complete fucking lunatic. But it's also a sort of exploration of the world around her also being crazy. At one point, she, knocks over and, destroys the bike of this gangster, and then by the end of the series, he's turned his life around completely and has, a huge crush on her. And so there's honestly a sort of, as they explore the eccentricities of the characters, you also get to see their relationships develop and the characters kind of change over time. And coming out to that, I would also say that although Chio is the beginning of the series is all about keeping a low profile, I will say that looking back, I think she is probably a lot more open with her athleticism and her own quirks when she gets towards the end of the series. Albeit she isn't a completely different character, she still tries to keep a low profile, but the Chio who removes her panties and walks to school without panties on in, the final episode is not the same person that was jumping over buildings back in episode 1. Or I should say jumping across buildings. She can't jump over buildings. The show does take at least a relatively realistic look at what people could physically do. But yeah, I really love the comedy of the show. I think that's, the main draw is, the show is just absolutely hysterical, and that's really all you need for a comedy show. But I also really appreciate the characters and their designs and their interactions and their stories as well. It's actually kind of really clever, and I do like how they explore the relationships between the characters. Everyone's kind of terrible, but not so terrible that they're unlikable. They wouldn't stab you or anything. It's that kind of terrible that you can only be with a friend. I don't know. It's hard to describe what specifically is so enjoyable about the show, because at a certain point, you're just explaining jokes. But truly, even on a rewatch, Chio School Road is just delightful. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrabolic, your envoy of hope. Bye-bye.